the haulage industry is one which hasn't stopped during this pandemic, but like many, it has still been affected. There are concerns that many firms are on the verge of going under. One Northamptonshire haulier says it has seen a 40% fall in what it's carrying. Well, Sam Reid has been looking into this for us. Sam, obviously haulage a big business in this region.
Yes, and clearly, Janine, the A421 much quieter than normal. One lorry we can see there by the beauty of live TV, but of course they are making a bigger proportion of the vehicles on our roads at the moment as car drivers stay at home. But what hauliers say is that shouldn't disguise the fact the industry has a problem. It's people like Sean that keep the country's goods moving. At this Northamptonshire company, they transport essentials like food, but also non-essentials like bathroom sinks. That's why the firm is now carrying around 40% less than it did before the coronavirus crisis started. Typical of an industry many warn is now on the edge.
I've been working here 34 years and I've never known it as quiet. It's just worrying times. I think everybody's worried, but we're all hoping that we get through this okay.
Stuff is still being loaded onto lorries here, but less of it. And the business model is based on full loads, which aren't happening so often. But with staff needed on standby, only 30 of 200 workers have been furloughed.
I think the changes that we have faced in the last few weeks, since lockdown was announced, has been the most dramatic that this industry has ever faced.
The boss here says government measures haven't helped.
The furlough scheme doesn't really work for our industry because our vehicles need to go out and need to reflect the demands of the economy. That doesn't mean that we can actually furlough staff for a minimum of 3 weeks, which is the requirement. The loan scheme isn't really applicable and doesn't really work for our industry. The relief of business rates, which was another big sell, actually, when you come to the small print, our industry is exempt.
The situation here is stressful, but for others it's much worse. The industry body says 1 in 5 hauliers could be just 2 weeks from going under. That's why there's a call for new emergency action, specifically for the haulage industry.
Road haulage is at the heart of everything that we do. It's the lifeline, it's the lifeblood of the UK. If we don't get that cash injection into this industry, these hauliers will not be around to move product that we take for granted day in, day out around the country. And that means that recovery is going to be even harder.
There will be a time when there's demand for full lorries leaving here again. The question is how to survive until then.
Sam, clearly a lot of different businesses want support from the government. So what exactly does the haulage industry want?
Well, the Road Haulage Association, you saw them in my piece, they're based in Peterborough. They're asking for 3 things. One is a cut in fuel duty. The other is help with cash flow because they say some hauliers aren't being paid what they're owed. And third is help with fixed costs for lorries that aren't being used. But as you say, that's a big ask given what the government's done for the wider economy.
But there is an urgency here, though, isn't there, Sam? Because some firms say they are really right on that verge of going bust. So what does the government say it's doing? Well,
the government told us today it is encouraging hauliers to apply for the loans and the grants that it's put out there, even though you saw that haulier in my piece say it doesn't work for them. The Department for Transport also saying today it's relaxed a whole load of rules for hauliers, whether that's about operating licences or rules about how much time drivers can spend out on the roads or vehicle tests. They say that is all meant to help what they call a vital industry.
Thank you, Sam.